Good evening and welcome to NEWSBREAK Live. I'm Hiba Samad. Thanks for joining us. Arson investigators are looking to see what may have caused a fire at one of Torrance's largest apartment complexes today. Torrance fire crews responded to a second alarm structure fire in the 3100 block of Newton Street late this afternoon. It took 30 firefighters and their quick actions to knock down the apartment blaze once they were on scene. The intersection of Tandem Way and Dalemead Street remain closed, and authorities are asking for everyone to avoid the area. There have been no reports of injuries to occupants or firefighters. If you haven't already, be sure to sign up for Torrance Alerts to stay updated. Go to torranceca.gov/Torrance Alerts. California Highway Patrol and local law enforcement agencies continue to tackle one of the most serious traffic-related problems on the roadways. During the Labor Day weekend, CHP arrested nearly 1,000 drivers suspected for driving under the influence in California. As of this Sunday night, 17 people were killed in traffic accidents. CHP ramped up enforcement on state highways Friday through Monday. Torrance police also cracked down on drivers breaking the law with extra officers out in full force. Last year, CHP reported 30 people died on California roadways and more than 1,000 motorists were arrested on suspicion of DUI statewide throughout the holiday weekend. August 17th through September 3rd is National Traffic Safety Administration's Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign. You may want to take a different route on your daily commute starting this Thursday. Southern California Edison has plans to close lanes on Pacific Coast Highway west of Hawthorne Boulevard and on Hawthorne Boulevard just south of PCH. This takes place through this Friday due to utility relocations required for the Pacific Coast Highway Hawthorne intersection widening project. The curb lane will be closed for this work on both streets. The widening project will increase the capacity of the intersection by providing 3 lanes, dual left turn lanes, and dedicated right turn lanes in all 4 directions. Thanks to the new design of the Torrance Farmers Market, they're looking to offer more of an experience to shoppers. The market is hoping to recruit on chefs to work on Tuesdays and Saturdays during farmers market hours to show customers how to cook farmers market produce on a limited budget. One of their focuses is teaching a family of 4 on a CalFresh budget to cook a healthy meal. Recently, the Torrance Farmers Market started accepting EBT customers, and also last year, City Council approved a plan to enhance the layout of the market, which maximized space. It added areas for public information demonstrations, educational events, and other opportunities. The Torrance Farmers Market is open Tuesday and Saturday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Wilson Park, rain or shine. A local organization is looking for donations to make sure kids across the South Bay don't go hungry as schools kick off. The Volunteer Center South Bay Harbor Long Beach is currently restocking their pantry that provides bags of foods to students and families that are part of their Food for Kids program. They recently updated their shelf-stable shopping list and are looking for cereal, granola bars, canned fruit, raisins, applesauce, peanut butter, soup, ravioli, chili soup, rice, to name a few. The Food for Kids program assists low-income students during the weekend. The donation-driven food pantry provides bags of non-perishable food and nutrition handouts to selected elementary schools in the center's service area for every week. Volunteers assemble and deliver bags of food filled with items to make 2 breakfasts, 2 lunches, and 2 dinners to local schools on Fridays. Donations are accepted Monday through Friday between 8:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. The Volunteer Center is located at 1230 Cravens Avenue. And the Volunteer Center is also looking for items for another big program. Staff says a majority of the students they help share a toothbrush with family members. In hopes of having students focus on school and not personal hygiene, the center is looking for people to donate toothbrushes. They're hosting an Operation Teddy Bear dental supply drive now through September 28th. You can donate single, individually packaged toothbrushes or travel-sized toothpaste. You can also support the drive through Amazon.com by adding items to their wish list. Operation Teddy Bear is a literacy program that provides school bags filled with books, educational supplies, and wellness tools to underserved first grade students. Head to volcenter.org for more information. And even though Torrance students are gearing up for back to school this Thursday, next year school will begin a bit earlier. Just a reminder, school across the Torrance Unified School District will start pre-Labor Day on Monday, August 26th, 2019. The decision was made in July 2018 after more than a year of negotiations between the district and the Torrance Teachers Association. This year, winter break will take place on December 21st, then December 26th through the 28th, and January 2nd through the 4th. Spring break will take place from April 8th through the 12th. El Camino College honored students who also excelled in athletics. 80 student athletes through the National Scholar Baller organization were recognized recently. 8 teams made it to the postseason play this year. During the spring, softball had an exciting run as the team advanced to the California Community College State Championships for the first time in program history. The football team was selected to host the Beach Bowl, El Camino College's first bowl appearance since 2011. Other sports included baseball and track. Also, numerous student athletes were awarded All-American, All-State, and All-Conference honors. Scholar Baller recognized students who are dedicated to excellence on the field, court, pool, and in the classroom. Students athletes qualified by achieving a 3.0 grade point average or higher. College may have just started for students, but for some at El Camino College, they're already looking forward to the end of the semester. Today is the first day students can apply for graduation this fall. Filing period continues through October 18th at 4 p.m. Students can apply for graduation intents and petitions for certificates, which must be filed in the admissions office by the deadline. Staff say if you're planning to file, it's recommended to see a counselor before your final term in order to ensure you meet the requirements for your degree or certificate. For more information on requirements that need to be submitted for graduation, head to elcamino.edu. A tribute to a legendary icon is coming to Torrance. James Garner's tribute to Johnny Cash is coming to the James Armstrong Theater in November, but tickets are on sale right now. Garner and his band recreate Cash's life and music with strong conviction and accuracy. The show has personal anecdotes, historical nuggets, and music from Cash's greatest hits to lesser-known ballads. Tickets range from $25 to $35. For more information, go to cashtribute.net. A local business is changing plans once again due to customer demand. Walser's art supply liquidation sale ends this Saturday. While the store has transitioned to Walser's tactical firearms and ammunition, owner Jack Walser on Facebook announced today that due to customer demand, they're bringing back and adding new art supplies to its store. Some items will be sale priced while they'll bring in new inventory. Walser's has served the Torrance community for more than 42 years. The new tactical product line includes ammunition, cleaning accessories, knives, sharpening tools, target safes, and much more. For more information, go to walsers.com. Now let's get to the weather. Today there was a high of 76 degrees with an expected low of 66 tonight. Tomorrow there'll be a high of 77 degrees with an expected low of 66. And on Thursday you'll see a high of 76. A popular fast food chain is offering a deal too hard to pass up. In hopes of engaging more customers with its smartphone app, Chick-fil-A is offering free orders of nuggets to everyone who creates a Chick-fil-A account or signs into the chicken chain's updated smartphone app. The giveaway is for regular and grilled 8-count nuggets and can be redeemed at more than 2,300 locations nationwide, and there's 2 in Torrance. Officials say this deal is unusual because existing loyalty members can also get in on the deal. It's offered now through September 29th. A big-name retailer is giving Nintendo fans an exclusive experience. Best Buy announced that new demo events for upcoming Nintendo Switch exclusive Super Smash Bros. Ultimate will be coming to selected stores starting next week, including the Best Buy right here in Torrance, located on Pacific Coast Highway. The special event starts this week until October 7th. It'll offer customers a chance to get their hands on the game prior to its launch later this year. In Torrance, the events are set for September 15th and 16th, so make sure to mark it on your calendar. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is scheduled to release on December 4th via Nintendo Switch. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is an upcoming crossover fighting game as part of the Super Smash Bros. Series. And before the next half of NewsBreak Live, here's some upcoming events you won't want to miss. Tomorrow and this Thursday, Rizzo's Pizzeria is hosting a fundraiser for Drake Walker. He's the youngest son of James Walker, who's a sergeant at the Torrance Police Department, who's battling an aggressive terminal cancerous brain stem tumor. A portion of all the sales during this time will go to his family. Then also tomorrow, the Torrance South Bay YMCA is hosting its free community health screening from 9 a.m. to noon. You can stop by to get your blood sugar, blood pressure, and lungs checked. No RSVP is needed. And this Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. you can shop at the Delamo Fashion Center while listening to some live music. The last summer music series will take place with music by Lisa Ritchie. It takes place at the Outdoor Village. There'll be food and drink samples along with outdoor games. Well, in just 2 minutes, it's back to school week for Torrance students, and Motor Torrance Officer Stuart Scott will join me in just a few minutes to talk about how to stay safe during this time on the road. We'll be back.
When I was in high school, I was physically at school, but my mind wasn't at school. I had problems at home, and that's hard when you feel like you're doing it alone. That's when I met our niece. My mom, as I'll call her, she started helping me a little bit, like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but your future is more important. She's my strength. Just being a support for those hard days and those hard nights, not giving up on me. Thank you to my mama. I wouldn't have did this if it wasn't for her. Today is for my mama and everybody who had my back. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. Some people would think, well, maybe it's really not that big of a deal, but it really is. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Dad?
Just 1 minute, okay?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back to the second half of NewsBreak Live, and joining me is Torrance Motor Officer Stuart Scott. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you, Hibba, for having me on.
School officially starts this Thursday. It's a busy time, and as parents are getting ready, they should also prepare for road safety. Officer Scott, you work on the south side of Torrance, and you also manage a lot of traffic near school areas. So talk to me about how important this time is.
So it's important. Everyone's getting back into routine, starting with school. And so what happens is we have a lot more traffic than we've had for the last few months. So what we're asking people to do is, provide some extra time to get there. Maybe scout out your school if you haven't been there before, how their drop-off and pickup works. And then give yourself a lot of time those first couple days of school to get your kids there, whether you're dropping them off or walking them to school, and just obey all the rules of the road while you're doing that.
You know, and also during this time, the National Safety Council says that children are mostly hurt or killed in bus-related incidents or just even walking. So let's start with walking. What are some basic tips you have for students who live close to their schools and are just going to take that few-minute walk on campus?
Well, I always say our biggest concern is safety, obviously, for these kids. But some things they can do to help keep themselves safe is when they're walking to school, be mindful of not having your headphones in or your earbuds, not being on your cell phone, but actually paying attention to your surroundings. When you come to intersections, to look at the cars that are approaching the intersection, make eye contact, make sure the drivers see you, and don't step off the curb before they do. And then while you're in the crosswalk, you know, your job is to get from one side to the other, not being on your phone, not listening to music, not paying attention. So ask that you pay attention and put away the distractions, and hopefully that helps.
Why is it important? A lot of research shows that adults should accompany children that are under 10 years old when walking to school. As times are progressing, is this something you feel that holds true?
I do. It's still, we live in a different world these days. And so it's, you know, even though 10 years old is probably old enough to walk by themselves to school, it's still good to have an adult with them. Because the adult's going to concentrate more on the safety. They're going to look for those cars. They're going to, you know, be paying attention because they want to get their kids there safe. So we always encourage adults to walk with their kids to school and to help keep everyone safe.
You're frequently around school campuses. So what are some of the situations you constantly see besides students and parents not using the crosswalk properly? Are there any other situations that you see?
So you mentioned a couple of them, and we see not only students not using the crosswalks, but a lot of times they're accompanied by parents they're not using the crosswalk, they're cutting between cars and walking across the street. And part of what makes that dangerous is it's hard for drivers to see them when they come out from between vehicles. In addition to that, though, we see parents when they are dropping off, sometimes they're parking in red zones or fire zones, they're double parking, they're getting out of their car, on the traffic side where cars are trying to pass and not really paying attention to traffic that's coming and going. So we just ask that use the crosswalks, park in designated spots, use the valet systems when possible, and give yourself extra time in case you can't park somewhere. You may have to park farther away, but give yourself that extra time so you can walk your kid to school safely.
Many of the Torrance school campuses have designated loading zones and drop-off areas. Am I right?
Yes, most of them do have some sort of valet or a pickup or drop-off zone already established.
So people should just pretty much follow that, and they would stay out of, you know, many incidents that they probably don't want to get into.
Yes, most of them are set up, and some of them are better than others, but
Okay.
most schools have some, and it helps funnel the kids through and get the parents on their way. So when they are there, please try and use them. Most of the schools will put stuff out in flyers their first couple days to tell parents how to use those properly. So we encourage parents to use the pickup and drop-off zones.
You know, statistics say that 55 million kids are heading back to school this year. And as we were just talking, in this day and age with dangers out there, if a student is approached by someone they don't know when they're walking to school, or even if they're on campus, what are some safety tips you would suggest?
So we always talk about stranger danger, and when they're approached by someone they don't know or strangers, say it's in a vehicle, we don't want them to approach the vehicle. We don't want them to accept anything, whether it be candy or flyers or anything from a person they don't know. And specifically, we don't want them to get close to the vehicle because we don't want anything bad to happen, someone to pull them into the vehicle. So ideally, we want them to make as much noise as they can, stranger danger, look for an adult or an authoritative figure, and run to that person and report what's happened. And that way we can be contacted and follow up if there is some kind of criminal activity that's going on.
Okay. Now we're going to transition a little bit over to school bus safety, because it's often an issue. Students don't see the bus, and then the bus drivers also don't see the students, and vice versa. So talk to me about some safety tips when it comes to that.
Well, you want to stand where the bus can see you. but don't put yourself in the roadway. So, and once the bus does pull up, make sure the bus is stopped and the driver's waving you on. Once you get on, we ask that you stay in your seat, that you stay seated, and try and be as quiet as you can, because the bus driver is having to transport numerous kids. It's harder if there's a lot of noise and commotion on the bus, so we want it to be as safe. Most of the buses don't have safety belts on them, so that's why we encourage everyone to sit in their seats, follow what the directions the bus driver said, and hopefully you get there to school safely.
Talk to me about the flashing lights, the yellow or red lights. What does that mean to a driver or a pedestrian?
So when the flashing yellow lights are out, that means the bus is stopping or it's stopped dropping off. A lot of times when the red stop sign comes out and flashing, you're not allowed to pass the bus on either side. And the reason for that is people may be getting on or off the bus and going across the street. So when you see that bus with the flashing stop sign out, both directions of traffic have to stop until the sign comes back in and the bus starts to proceed.
Tell me the importance of whether you're getting off a bus or crossing the crosswalk, the whole tip about left, right, left, looking that way before getting to the curb.
So it's important.
Is that a good tip?
It is a good tip. And I stress, when you come to a crosswalk, there is some measure of safety in a sense that it's a controlled, normally, environment, either by a traffic signal or stop signs. And most likely around the schools, there'll be a crossing guard. However, with all that being in place, you still should expect that drivers may not stop. So that's why I say before stepping off the curb, look at the intersection, look at the vehicles that are approaching, make eye contact with that driver to make sure they see you, and then don't proceed until they've stopped and acknowledge that you're there. And then once you start to go across the crosswalk, go from one side to the other as quickly as you can. That way you're out of that area of possible danger.
And the responsibility doesn't only lie with the student, but also with the driver. So besides not being distracted and driving, what are some other tips and some rules that drivers should follow in school zones, residential areas during this time of year?
So drivers should really be aware of their speed, especially in school zones, knowing that there are going to be kids present. So you need to slow down. Put your cell phone away. That's one of our biggest distractions. If people are on their cell phones, texting or emailing or on phone calls, and they're not paying attention to the road. And that means they may miss that stop sign, they may miss that stoplight, it may miss the crossing guard with the stop sign. So really pay attention, not just in general when you're driving, but specifically when you're around the school area. Know that the speed limit's reduced, and know and expect that there's going to be pedestrians in the crosswalk, crossing guards, and etc.
What is the speed limit
So
in a school? Is there an average speed usually?
Well, most of the schools are located in residential neighborhoods, so the speed limit's always 25. Okay. You may have schools that are attached or near major arterial roadways within the city where the speed may be 35, for instance, on Torrance Boulevard. However, that we have signs out there and flashing lights that when children are present, the speed is dropped to 25. So even though the speed is 25, I would say you still need to drop your speed, because you need to expect kids to pop out, whether it be at the crosswalk, they may come out between cars. So you want to be able to react to that stop so that we don't have any accidents.
Officer Scott, you patrol school areas every year. Tell me kind of the experience compared to families dropping off their students in the morning and then picking up students. Do you see a difference in how people are, and any tips you would give people during those different times?
Well, in the morning, for about a half hour in the morning and a half hour in the afternoon, there's a lot of traffic that's impacting these residential neighborhoods, because that's where the schools are. So with that being said, everyone wants to make sure that their child gets to school and gets picked up safely. However, allow that extra time. Take a deep breath so you don't get upset, because the measures that are in place, whether it be the crossing guard or the valet, are there for the safety of the students and for the parents dropping off their kids. Realize that those are tools to use. Don't get upset with the crossing guards. Don't get upset with the school staff. Just take a deep breath, give yourself some extra time, and use those things that have been put in place to help facilitate that process, and realize it's going to be hectic for 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the afternoon.
What do you look out for when you're patrolling? Tell me a little bit about that without giving everything away, but what are the most concerning dangers you see every year?
So for me, the speeding through the school zones, the not stopping at the stop signs or not obeying the crossing guards when they're there. Big thing, the jaywalking, coming out from between vehicles where, you know, especially at the elementary schools where the kids are a little shorter, they're harder to see when they come out from between cars. And my concern is I don't want a kid to come out in front of a car, and that's why we encourage using the crosswalks, using the crossing guards. Even if you have to walk a little way, it's better to go somewhere that we would say is protected in the sense that it has some signals there, has a crossing guard, has an adult looking out for you. So cell phones, I'm always looking for cell phones around the schools. Because if you're paying attention to your cell phone, you're not paying attention to your driving or looking for kids.
And no matter whether you're driving or you're going to school, I know you mentioned this before, always expect the unexpected, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. Any other tips you'd like to add?
I'm looking forward to the school year. I'm sure a lot of parents are excited for Thursday to get the kids back into school. But be safe. Give yourself some extra time. You know, be mindful, be thankful for a lot of the things the city of Torrance does with the crossing guards, with the schools, with the valet, and use those, you know, use them for what they're designed for. And if you do that and you give yourself the extra time and you use those tools, it should be an easy transition into this year's school year.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I'm sure the kids are excited to see you. You're quite popular out there, right?
I am excited to see them. I'm popular at a few schools, but I am excited to see the kids back.
Okay, thank you so much, Officer Scott.
Thank you, Hiba, for having me on.
Have a great night.
You too.
And for more resources, you can always go to exchange.aaa.com and nsc.org. Well, that does it for NewsBreak Live. If you ever have news or video that you'd like to share, please email us at newsbreak@torranceca.gov. Also, if you missed any part of the show, you can catch it all on Torrance City Cable's YouTube page. Have a great night.